I failed 8 classes when I was a law student and got 3 high distinctions in my last semester, and I remember how stressed out I was when it came to exams, especially when it came to creating exam notes. So I'm going to share my little unintentional 3-step process with creating exam ready notes. And I guess my qualification is that there was a unit where I had failed, and when I retook that unit and did the exam, I got a HD, including in the exam. By the way, if you're new here, I post everything from bouncing back from 8 failed classes to becoming a lawyer, lawyer life, everything in between. So first of all, I actually kept, for every single week, I kept all my notes in one set. And what I mean by this is that I don't have separate notes for the readings, separate notes for the lectures, or separate notes for the classes. Like they're not separate at all. They are instead just one set. And how I ended up doing this was, instead of just having separate notes for each of this, I would start off by doing my readings, and my main form of notes is going to come from my readings because the readings is where it's the most detailed. And then by the time it gets to the lecture, instead of having separate notes from the lecture only, I only just integrate things from the lecture into the notes that I have already made for my readings. Sometimes lectures are extremely helpful, like you get to pick up on the things that are constantly repeated, or maybe there's an explanation that wasn't necessarily in the readings. So pretty much you have the notes that you got from your readings, but you're basically adding things from the lecture into it instead of having a completely separate set of notes from your lecture. Same thing with your classes. Instead of having just class notes only, you're actually going to integrate what you have picked up from your classes into that main set of reading notes. This was just really helpful just because just so that I just didn't get overwhelmed with the amount of set of notes that I have. Like, I much prefer just to have everything in one set. So that's why I did it that way, and it did, and it really helped. So you may think that, oh, when you create exam notes, you have to start it from scratch. No, you don't have to start it from scratch. So that one set of notes that you got from the readings, that you got from the lectures, that you got from the classes, how I would do it is that, of course, I have that week's notes with the readings, lectures, and classes all in the one. And then I would duplicate that document, but I would then simplify it to make it exam ready. So I didn't really necessarily have to create another set of notes for exam ready notes. I'm just basically just simplifying what I already have, and that saves you so much more time. And that's why creating exam notes by the end of every week, doing exam notes as you go, is actually the practical thing to do. And also, when you do your exam notes as you go, week by week by week,